Hey, this is Paul Burkoven with Elk Spring Education, your place for financial and real estate know-how. And today we're doing an Elk Spring tidbit on the uber competitive real estate market that we're seeing in many markets across the country. And over the last few years, we've watched markets get tighter and tighter with shortages of inventory, buyers competing for homes like seagulls, beating each other out for some scrap thrown up to them at the beach. It's kind of the same thing. And a lot of people being very frustrated because they can't find a home. They get beat out. The ones they want sell before they can even go see them, right? And it's been a big problem in a lot of markets around the country. But here's the thing. There are people who are doing just fine in these markets, who are finding the homes they want, getting to own them, and doing so successfully. And so what we're going to cover in this tidbit is some of the strategies that folks are using who are winning in the uber competitive real estate market. One of the key things I want to say about that overall is that folks who are doing so successfully are adopting tactics to beat the competition, very specific ways of beating other people out when a home comes up that they want. And there are also folks who are open to adopting new approaches, to doing things in a different way to be able to win. And so we're going to talk about a few of those right now. One of the key things I think is how do you know if it's a tight market? How do you know if it's a tight market? And also, how do you know how tight is it, right? What level of competitiveness do you need to take on? Okay, so a great way of assessing that is to look at what's available online. And number one, if you don't see 5 to 6 homes on the market right now that meet your needs and wants, if you don't see 5 to 6 of those available right now, the market is probably a tight market. There's probably a shortage. So if you're seeing less than 5 to 6 homes that meet your needs or wants, tight market. And the smaller that number is, the tighter the market is, right? For you, for what you want to find. The other thing is taking a look at average days on the market. So if the average days on the market for listings in the area where you're looking is short, that also is going to suggest a tight market. So number one, if you just don't see a half dozen homes that could work for you, and number two, if you see the days on the market is short, it's not, homes aren't on the market for 90 days, they're on the market for 20 days or something like that. Those things would show you that the market's tight, and the smaller those numbers, the tighter it is. The more tactics you're going to need to come up with to be the person who's going to win, right? A lot of your competition is not going to think about that. They're going to passively go look at homes and be beat out. So part of it is building your own awareness around it. Along those lines, knowing the market is super important, right? And I like to say about this that you can get statistics on many local real estate company websites. It's a great idea to know the total number of listings at any moment and the total number of pendings in the area where you're looking. Not necessarily what you would be looking for, but just the health of that market overall. Have a sense of that. It'll give you a great idea and perspective as you're looking at homes and understanding how aggressive you may need to be. So total number of listings and pendings you can often find on local real estate company websites or local board of realtors. It's a good thing to know. Along those lines too, there are many specific tactics and that are just helpful to have in your toolbox. And so financialpro.info is just a URL. I'm going to ask you to go there when we're finished to leave some feedback just for a couple of seconds. 2 quick questions. If you type the words "how to win" into one of those boxes, "how to win," there's a really cool report we've written that has a bunch of these specific strategies we watch people use to beat other people out for homes. You just type in "how to win" and we'll send that to you, okay? At financialpro.info. So knowing the market is super important, and that's an important thing for you to do. It's also important for your buyer's agent to do that, and obviously that's a professional who spends their time knowing the market. Why
why that's important is you want to talk to your buyer's agent about interpreting the market data and trends. In other words, if you talk to your buyer's agent about the number of listings and pendings, that buyer's agent is going to interpret what that means. Is that normal for this market? Or is it super tight or not super tight, right? You want that person to interpret the data for you. And really, it's super important to choose a buyer's agent who you trust, who's an expert in that market, and who you feel is representing your best interest, so that you can have a lot of faith, because oftentimes you have to move very quickly when the right home comes up. And the more that you know the data about the market up front, and the more that your buyer's agent has helped you interpret it, the better. So if your buyer's agent is telling you, the average number of listings and pendings means that the market is, super tight, and in the price range that you're looking, here's the stats, even more, it helps you to have context on what it takes to win. Here's the thing that a lot of your competition is going to miss. A lot of times, the tighter a segment, the better the investment, okay? And a lot of your competition will get dismayed by that. They might become defiant. They might not be willing to do what it takes to win. And oftentimes, the tighter the segment of the market, the better the investment. So having a buyer's agent who can help you interpret that and know what's okay to do in that market can make you have a really keen competitive edge that other folks won't have. And it's something that a lot of people don't do and don't pay attention to. So doing that work with your buyer's agent, having faith in them, and really spending time understanding the market and the numbers and the trends, and knowing that if it's a tight market, the tighter it is, generally the better the investment, is a super important skill for thriving and winning in this market. So financialpro.info is the place to just give a couple quick pieces of feedback on this tidbit. And if you type in how to win, we'll send you the full report of all the strategies. Thanks for being part of the tidbit. That's it for now.